Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rayge, and we are back today to talk about, once again now, for the month of July, the most important teams right now in Marvel Strike Force. Ultimately, this is not going to be a complete all the content, but it's going to allow you to have the opportunity here to gain access to, I would say, at least 90% plus of everything in the end game, especially if you are interested in the newer content coming out, featured and especially tailored to those wider rosters. This is going to help you get started on a really strong foundation. Now, I really want to talk about these 10 teams because I do believe they're the ones that should matter for the purpose of this video, and there's a lot of legendary Horseman teams, mythic teams. I've decided to exclude all that, so Super Scroll, Apocalypse, all the Horsemen, they have been excluded because there's just a lot of teams now that are kind of falling out of the meta, and obviously we know who the best tunes in the game are, so I don't want to take away that important space and time to talk about other meaningful teams. So they've been ignored for the purpose of this video, folks, but those of you that are engaged in the game, you should know who they are anyways. This is really tailored for those that are newer in the game, in the mid-game, transition to end game, because these 10 teams should be the ones that you should be on the lookout for. But we're also going to talk about ones which are also likely going to be on the way out. And so if you're watching this earlier, guys, just know that I'll be pointing this out in this video. That's why there's going to be some conservativity in terms of building up some of these teams, especially knowing how some of these raid teams are turning over. I will make sure to point that out as well. And given how fast the meta changes, that's why I make this once a month, to try and get you up to speed. If this is the video that's going to help you guys really illustrate which 10 teams right now unlock the majority of the content. I chose these ones because they're obviously doing well in raids. You need to be doing this on a day-by-day basis with your alliance. They're going to have value in Arena, Dark Dimension. They're also going to get you started on Crucible and as well as War, because obviously with those two game modes being more involved and having more teams, this is going to give you a bit of heads up on that as well. So without further ado, guys, I have them already saved up, so let me show you here. But again, with me being free to play, this has allowed me to unlock 90+% of the content, and really sets me up for any kind of future events. I'm going to point that out as well. So have them saved right here, and obviously we're just going to start with the most obvious one, because you know everybody knows we need the raid teams. Incursion 2 raids right now is the main source for Crimson Gear, so I'm going to start off here. But as well, I want you guys to pay very, very close attention to which characters I have built up for this, because each and every one of these teams can solo all 3 nodes in the highest difficulty right now for Incursion 2.3, and that also means, in my honest opinion, well, I do think there's going to be another raid coming very, very soon. It could be in the next month. It could be in a couple weeks, because it's been happening for quite some time now, and we're waiting for either a new team or a new raid mode, which is going to shake things up, which is why we need to always be on the watch for min-maxing some of these teams. Now, I'm going to start things off with the Mystic team here being Bifrost. You can see Val is pretty much the only exception. I've built her up to the moon. I'm bringing her into Dark Dimension 7. As for the rest of the team, they're not even gear tier 16. And yes, guys, I can complete all 3 nodes on the highest level of Incursion 2.3 using this team. And that's the illustrated point. Actually, what I'll do is I'll link my videos below if you guys want to watch how to do that. But yeah, you can see here, you don't actually need to build them up. This is one of those like really good victories here for min-maxing, but they've really changed the formula on that going forward. As you can see, even with Pegasus, you need them built up a little higher. As you can see with Kestrel is kind of the equivalent, the foundation and core of the team, similar to how Val is for Bifrost. Well, with Kestrel and Pegasus, most of the Pegasus members are built up. I definitely would have some stronger emphasis on as well as Rescue, because Rescue does have the revive mechanic. She's the second most important after Kestrel, and then I think Darkhawk providing energy is really good. Ironheart Mark II and Iron Man, both of them obviously have value, but they don't need to be built up to the moon. It's really going to be Kestrel and Rescue that's going to be the focus there. Now, I want to pause her real quick, because these 2 teams are the oldest teams. So Mystic and Tech, respectively. These are the ones that we should be on the watch for, which means you do want to hold back, because right now what you're seeing with these current power levels, they're getting the job done in all 3 nodes. However, how high you want to build them is dependent on how much resources you want to invest, and that ultimately is why I want to point this out, because really this is probably the last of the teams that you can kind of cheat, if you will. After this this segregation here of the Tech and Mystic nodes, you do need to build up some higher teams, as we've seen with some of the resistance checks and the stronger enemies that are up against. So you can see right here, We have a couple of variations. Extreme X-Men can get the job done, all 3 nodes for the mutant section, but the better version of this is Old Man Logan. That's why I want to include him here in this mix. This first team right here with Old Man Logan in place of Cyclops, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. There's way more wiggle room compared to Extreme, which has less wiggle room if you're going through, especially the final boss node. Old Man Logan absolutely tears, and you can see I only have him at 4 stars, 2 red. So this can only get better, but emphasis on both Gambit and Nightcrawler being really the strongest points of this team. Forge is very good too. When I got him to a gear tier 18 with a revive, I mean, I just had way more success, more consistency. But it's difficult, guys. It's still hard, in my honest opinion, to sim this, even at these team levels, because of the fact that the enemies are so much higher, and sometimes that little RNG will cost you, especially with the right attack not going as intended. So just something to be mindful of. They did say that Incursion 2.3 is not really expected to be sim, but there's some nodes that you can sim. Anyways, save some resources if you can, if you have Old Man Logan. If not, the full Extreme can still get the job done. And as you can see, my Cyclops is still fairly built. Most folks should have a diamond or 2 on him, with given how long he's been in the game. And now, I also want to bring to you another variant here. Next up in the raid section is going to be the Bio, and this is utilizing Hive Mind. If you have Super Scroll unlocked, with him being technically the best character right now after Mephisto, you know, this is the better version. You can actually swap him in place of Venom, and this is going to save you some resources once again. That's why I stopped building up Venom, and obviously having Super Scroll is a better substitute. So for some food for thought there, guys, just to save you some resources. Otherwise, Gwenom, Red Goblin, Void Knight, very important pieces. If you don't want to build up Carnage, that's definitely an option. I built Carnage up because of the fact that we had an escape from killing event, and he was very useful for that. That escape from killing will likely return, and I'm not gonna lie, I think Carnage will have value going forward into that. If you want to use these characters for Dark Dimension, they're more costly than some of the other city counterparts like Spire Society members, but they will definitely get the job done even in Dark Dimension as well. So something for you to be mindful of there if you want to invest. Then we have skill section with Spire Society. This team absolutely walks through the nodes. As you can see, I'm deciding to bring in a couple of members here for the city section for Dark Dimension 7. That's why I got both Noir and as well as Peter B being leveled up all the way to the max. Ghost Spider, most of us should have 3 diamond from her event when we had it featured. I believe it was like Pocket Dimensions. And then as well, Pavitra as well as Penny Parker, both doing their part. But yeah, this gets a job done in both Spotlight and the highest level incursion rate, guys. So that concludes the raid teams. Now, let's talk about real briefly here some of those plug-and-play best all-rounder teams in the game. Secret Defenders, in my honest opinion, is still one of the best teams in the game. But I did want to include Doctor Strange here in this list to show you that you don't need him. So I actually only built up 4 members out of the 5. And usually my 5th member is one of the mythic characters or some sort of sought-in position. But this team is still a fortress on Arena. If you guys don't have Apocalypse or Skrull, Secret Defenders is kind of the meta, in addition to Extreme. Both of them are being used in Arena right now. Black Cat, Robbie is an absolute GOAT in Dark Dimension, usable in all game modes. Miss Marvel Hardlight is the kind of the semi-counter to Apocalypse if you're up against him in some mirror matches. And then Photon, a beast in war. She's got value in Arena if you still have this part of this initial mixture of the Secret Defenders. But you're just going to have value in Photon all across the board, because I even brought her in the Dark Dimension. She's cheap. She's got some good utility. So yeah, make sure you guys leave out Doctor Strange. Not important, but these 4 out of the 5, very strong team, and they can beat a lot of teams in the game. Actually, when I was doing my my Sword Satellite climb, Secret Defenders was one of the only teams that can basically get through any team. So just something to be mindful of there. You're building for the future events as well. The same can be exactly said for the Sinister 6, Superior 6 synergies. I have these 5 because they're my best 5 on my roster, but obviously Spire Slayer, Mysterio, they're really good members as well. But in my honest opinion, guys, this is one of the best plug-and-play teams in the game. They're just usable all across the board. Dark Dimension, all game modes, War, Crucible, you name it. So make sure you guys invest in these characters because they're really good. And especially a character like Vulture, bringing him into Dark Dimension, my goodness, absolutely amazing value. Cheap, utility, synergy with most characters and teams, and I just can't say enough about these characters here. Sinister 6 is probably one of the best teams we've ever seen ever since the rework, and hopefully there's more of those to come in the future. But yeah, easily one of the best plug and play. We have right then following that, I have emphasis. I already pointed out Old Man Logan is one of the best characters earlier in that mutant team, but you actually need both these teams to actually build up and unlock Old Man Logan in the next trials. And that's why I have both Out of Time and Cabal here. Now, I do want to point out with Out of Time, obviously you can see I had emphasis here building up Black Knight. Still easily one of the best characters in the game. But that's really the reason why Out of Time is even here. Captain America and Captain Carter, they were previously built up because of Rebirth, so there's value there. And then I have left off Cosmic Ghost Rider and Starbrand because I don't have that much emphasis in war, but this team gets a job done. It's really Black Knight that's carrying. And the reason why you want to be looking at this team potentially is because depending on how many star levels you want of Old Man Logan, I'm probably going to have to bump up these characters, seeing how the difficulty goes. That's why they're on this list as well. They're really needed for one of the best characters in the game in Old Man Logan, and we're gonna see how much we need to min max to get that potential maximized. We have Cabal here. I am strongly looking at this team to bring into Dark Dimension 7, so that's why they're on here. But with the past events that we've seen, Sword Satellite, obviously with Escape from Kiln, Cabal was required, so you're going to be getting constant value. Heck, even the last 2 Pocket Dimension events that we've had, Cabal was needed. So right now, that's what they're at Gear Tier 17. I'm likely bringing them up higher. They have amazing value in all game modes, guys, and they have really cool synergy. They hit like a truck. I highly would recommend, and like I said, with them being required for Old Man Logan, it is nice that you get that extra value for a super premium plus character in Old Man Logan. And then lastly, kind of as a utility team and synergy with Spire Society as well, I've always been a big fan of Tangle Web. Not just because you need Spider Weaver here as part of the Apocalypse Unlock, but you have Noir here, part of Spire Society, and then 2099, still utility, really good synergy here with Spider Weaver. As you can see, I previously leveled them up for Dark Dimension 6, but overall, I still think this is like the best trio team in the game, next to Cabal. So that's why I'm leaving them here for now. They have a lot of utility. I found that they were very strong as well in the previous Sword Satellite, and just having those synergies was nice. So there you guys have it. These 10 teams, in my honest opinion, excluding any of the Horsemen and Apocalypse, are right now what's going to bring a lot of value to your account. So if you guys haven't built up these teams, I would definitely consider it, with the exception, obviously, some of the ones I talked about that are kind of on the way out. But, you know, Spire Society, some of the stronger raid teams, Sinister Six, Secret Defenders, doing exceptionally well still. So hopefully that holds up in the future. But as per usual, guys, this is my monthly update. I'll keep you guys up to date every month on this if anything changes on this list. But overall, it has not changed too much, which is great to see. And let me know anything in the comments below if you agree or disagree. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.